tell you just briefly about some of the overarching principles that I think contributed to the win. And again, not rocket science. That's the beauty of it. It is not rocket science. But number one, I mean, just generally, having good people who are dedicated to the cause. Number two, hard work. You just have to work hard. And in addition to that, you have to work smart. And then the fourth thing I would say is being frugal on a campaign, which is really kind of a foreign concept. But being frugal on a campaign, I think, saved us. It absolutely saved us. It put us in a position to be ready for everything that came our way. So let me talk about having the right people. Chip and I made a decision early on, based partly on need and partly on a choice, but we were not going to take people into the campaign that we didn't believe were doing it for the right reasons. There are a lot of people, good and bad, who do this for a living. And a lot of people are very good at what they do. And a lot of them just do it for a living. And we were going to be very careful in making sure we were bringing people in who were doing it for the right reasons. And we were successful with that, may I say. We also started very early organizing the structure of our campaign. And we knew, I mean, I'm pragmatic, I get it. We knew that the state party and the national party couldn't spend a lot of time helping on our individual race. We got that. So we knew early on, we're going to set up our own structure parallel to the party. So we had captains in every county, in every VPOU. We had our own captains to run the show. We had a phenomenal core staff. And when I think about the core staff that we had, again, I mean, I was offering the deal of a lifetime. Okay, I want you to work like 80 hours a week. You may not get anywhere. And oh yeah, you're not going to get paid. How do you feel about that? And yet, there were people willing to do it. It was amazing. So, of course, I had come on early. Just a couple months after I came on, we had our scheduler, Elisa Rossini, came on. Incidentally, she's another homeschool mother of 6. So we were kind of running the show early on. Shortly, I mean, this entire time I was begging Joey to come on, and she resisted for a long time. Maybe sometimes she still wishes she did. But finally, Joey agreed to come on as our finance chair. Kyler Narrison was working for Emmer before the endorsement, and he came on as our communications director. He was fresh out of college, had a new degree in communications. He came on. And let me tell you, going to work every day was such a pleasure. And that makes all the difference, doesn't it? It made it really easy to do what we were doing. It was nice. A theme, I think, and we've actually got one of our captains here tonight and some other volunteers from the campaign, but I like to think that one of the themes with the people who were working with us is that everyone had a voice. We would do a weekly conference call with our captains and discuss what was going on, and they offered input. They really did. They offered a lot of input and a lot of ideas and a lot of stuff we took and implemented. It was very, very helpful. Everyone had a voice, and everyone had autonomy. We didn't have time to make things happen in every county. We handed that over to the captains and said, look, we need you to do this. We need you to make these decisions. They organized fundraisers. They organized meet and greets. They handled their GOTV efforts essentially on their own. They found their own phone banks. They staffed their own phone banks. And I'm talking, we had 30 people around the district doing this kind of stuff. It was incredible. So the structure was very good. Let me just tell you briefly what happens when you have really good people dedicated to the cause. Up in Lake County, in Two Harbors, we had an experience. It was fantastic. And of course, most Republicans write off Lake County. The tip of the arrowhead there, Grand Marais. I mean, it's horrible. The numbers are bad. The numbers are really bad. But we decided we weren't going to write anything off. So our captains in Lake County, they were given a list of 10 names, 10 Republicans in the area. And we wanted to do a meet and greet. So those captains took that list of 10 names and they started calling people. And when they would call these people, they would say, hey, do you know anybody else who might be interested? And they kept doing this, and they would call. I mean, they had this elaborate phone tree from this, and in the end, they had contacted 350 people. At our first meet and greet in Two Harbors, we had 70 people show up. It was unbelievable. Two Harbors had never seen anything like it. In fact, in the end, we raised more money out of Lake County than we did out of Chisago County. It was amazing. I will forever say, don't write anyone off. Do not write anyone off. In Ely, Minnesota, I mean the heart of the Green Revolution, the entrance to the Boundary Waters, 150 people showed up to a fundraiser in Ely. It was amazing. We had the RV in town during the day, and we just wrote in shoe polish, Steamers Park, 7 o'clock. And sure enough, people just showed up. It was amazing. And then sort of the icing on the cake, Virginia, Minnesota, the very heart of the range, the Iron Range. If I may be so bold, the birth of communism in America. So 400 people showed up at a fundraiser for CHIP in Virginia, Minnesota. That's what happens when you have good people dedicated to the cause. And let me tell you, Joey did a lot of the, she would help with the invites and things like this, but it's those people up in Virginia, they're the ones who made this stuff happen. It's amazing. That's the kind of stuff that happens when you have good people dedicated to the cause. Hard work. Again, politics is not rocket science. It's that you better just be willing to show up and do whatever it takes to do. And we were fortunate. Chip set a high standard for that. Chip was willing to do whatever it took. He was willing to travel anywhere we told him to go. Yes, Chip, you're going to International Falls. Really? I mean, yes, you're going to go see the 2 Republicans in International Falls. So, Chip set a very high standard in being willing to work. And I like to think that I carried on that high standard as well. I don't believe I ever asked a captain or a staffer to do anything that I was not willing to do as well. And in fact, early on, we chatted with a political consultant, Pat Fisk. You may know him. He worked with Mark Kennedy quite a bit. And Pat said a couple of things. First of all, he said, okay, you know you can't win, right? Sure, Pat. We got a shot, Pat. I know we've got a shot. But one thing Pat said, he said, there's always more work to do. At some point, you just have to go home. And more nights than not, Joey and Kyler and I would be in the office midnight 1, and one of us would finally say, just go home. Just go home. But that was the culture of our campaign. Everyone worked hard all the time. And let me just say, there were times when we asked ourselves, why are we working so hard? Where are we getting? I remember right after endorsement, Joey and I, we knew the numbers were bad. We got that. But right after endorsement, we put all the numbers together so we could have it all on the wall, so we could see it in all of its glory. And we had, a couple of years, and literally, a Republican had literally never won a single county in the 8th district. Not a single county. And at that point, we kind of said, okay, we really are crazy. And yet we continued, we persevered, work hard. And as we all know, working hard is not very good without working smart. Joey introduced me to a concept it's one of the first things she told me in my School of Hard Knocks. She said, money, media, and votes. That's it, right there. That's your formula. Money, media, votes. Anything we do, every event Chip attends, anything we do in the office, whatever we do, what is it doing to accomplish one of those 3 things? Is it getting us money? Is it getting us media? Is it getting us votes? Again, not rocket science. That was our standard. Joey made a big fancy picture indicating. My kids didn't know what it was. She drew an old TV, like with antenna. My kids didn't know what that was.